Good evening, and thank you all for attending this evening's board meeting. I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick. Mr. Claus.
Here.
Mrs. McConnell.
Here.
Dr. Rankin. Mrs. Ross.
Here.
Mr. Wilson. President Murphy.
Here.
We have 4 present.
Thank you. This time, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you look up here to my left, you'll see the boards put up here by Harold B. Dawson. They did a great job getting ready for the fall, although now with all the snow, it looks like we're going to have to change that for the next presentation. And then over here to my right, you're going to find the boards put up by Annie Jo Gordon. Make sure if you guys get a chance, come up and take a look at them. They have our 7 mindsets on them as well. So good job to both of those schools for the boards that they did. Also like to go ahead and just take a moment to welcome back our student board member here, Mr. Smith. So thank you very much for coming back from Manual. At this time, we're going to go ahead and start with announcements. Mr. Klaus.
Woodruff Warrior Cafe will be open this Thursday, November 30th from 11 to 1:30 p.m. PPS culinary students will be preparing and selling a 3-course meal for only $8. Be sure to make your reservations at Warrior Way Cafe at psd150.org. And PTO council meeting. A council meeting will be held tomorrow, Tuesday, November 28th at 6 p.m. in the district's office media room. Don't miss important updates and initiatives happening district-wide. All parents are welcome to the PTO council meeting.
Good evening, everyone. Progress report card 2. Progress reports will be sent home this Wednesday, November 29th.
Thank you. Ms. Ross? Oh.
Class schedule meetings. Scheduling for all rising sophomores, juniors, and seniors has begun and will continue through the remainder of the year. Parents and guardians, be sure to review your plans for the 2024-25 academic year with your students.
Thank you. Attendance. Attendance matters. Every student, every class, and every day. Help your students maintain good attendance by bringing them to school on time and ready to learn. Having good attendance prepares students for success in high school, college, on the job, and in life. I have one from this. Okay, Hines Primary School's Santa Breakfast. On Saturday, December 2nd, from 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m., the Hines PTO will be sponsoring a Santa breakfast with crafts, pictures with Santa, and a donut pickup. I think I'll go. Students will also sing Christmas songs with their classes.
Thank you. Parent University Film Night. A Parent University Film Night will be held on Wednesday, December 6th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at each PPS high school. All pre-K through second grade families are invited to their Regions High School for the special screening of the award-winning film, The Right to Read. Families who attend are eligible to join a free field trip to the Festival of Lights. Boundary waiver application. The boundary waiver application will open this Friday, December 1st until February 1st. Boundary waiver applications allow students to attend PPS schools different than their home school. Applications will be found on psd150.org/boundary waiver. Okay, moving on next to student showcase. All right, well, that's all I can do. Well, good evening, board, and good evening, everybody here in the audience this evening. So this is not normal that I'm behind the podium on this side of things, right? But I wanted to showcase something that I don't know if very many of you are familiar with or aware of. One person that I am sure you're probably pretty aware of is Hetty Elliott, and she has been a teacher for Peoria Public Schools since 1997. She started a program called the Good Idea Council, and this was 3 years ago. The goal of this council was to teach kids to be independent thinkers, be philanthropic, and community-minded volunteers. And as most of you know, that's something that I'm truly passionate about. And so whenever I heard about this program, I wanted to learn a little bit more and even got my kids involved in it as well. Currently, they have 15 kids in this council, and these kids have raised over $1,000 in coins that have been given to local charities across the community. Pause, Center for the Blind, Sophia's Kitchen, Peoria Grown, MS Society, just to name a few. So at this time, I would like to invite up Hetty Elliott to tell us a little bit more about the Good Idea Council.
Good evening. I'm so pleased to be here tonight. I love these kids. I started the Good Idea Council about 3 years ago, and one evening I was restless, I was a little agitated watching the news, and I saw a lot of protests and a lot of selfies on social media, but I wondered, would that transpire into more volunteers after, all of the media blitz went away? Would that, translate to more community-minded individuals? And unfortunately, probably today, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and other organizations don't have any more volunteers than they did before that. So I wanted to do what I could do or contribute to the community by teaching children how to care for others, care for their community, be good leaders, independent thinkers, and most of all, be charitable human beings. I invited anyone. They could be from Peoria Public Schools, they could be from Catholic school, homeschool, whatever the case would be, just to bring a whole bunch of children together, grades 3 through 8, and talk about how we can make the community better. We've recently passed out turkeys and the fixings at Peoria Friendship House for their turkey drive. We've carried groceries at Peoria Grown. We packed 200 boxes for Operation Santa to have toys sent all over the world to poor children. And the coolest thing that the kids do is they have a jar, and each kid makes a jar, and it's called Change for Change. And they put in their coins in each meeting, which it runs like a Rotary or Kiwanis Club. We have a meeting one Saturday a month, and they bring in their coins. We count the coins. We have a speaker from a not-for-profit. And then at the end of the meeting, we have lunch and decide where we're going to contribute our coins next. So I would like to invite all of the kids in the Good Idea Council to come up here and stand. And it's I actually, well, I'll save that. I'm going to introduce them, and then I'm going to make a little bit of announcement. And some of you may have heard a couple of our kids on WMBD the other day, the day before Thanksgiving. So this is Noah from St. Thomas, Keaton from Lincoln, Adele from St. Thomas, Harlow from Harold B. Dawson, Chloe from Reservoir, Brandon from Liberty, Fernando from Lincoln, and Natalie from Lincoln. We also have, and Damon. Oh, I'm sorry, Damon's in my own class, and I forgot him. So we also have parents who are with us tonight, and if you guys could stand up. And I see David, who is a former, and Gus, a former GIC member, and they aged out. So we meet 2 Saturdays a month, and a lot of you who know that I'm really busy, everybody says, how do you do this? Well, these kids are so cool. I drag myself there on a Saturday, and just to see all of their good work and their good hearts and contributing to the community, it makes it all worth it. So I decided I need to pass the torch at some point, and so Chloe, raise your hand. She's been with me from the beginning. Next year, she will be taking over the council and being the leader. So thanks for having us.
Okay,
And thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, before you guys sit down, go ahead and kind of move up here a little bit closer. Yeah. I'd like to go ahead and I have a special announcement I'd want to make for your guys' council. So at this time, I'd like to invite William and Hunter from Sun Collectors to come up here to the podium.
A little taller for this thing. Good evening, board and audience, and Heidi Elliott and the rest of the organization. This is awesome. And it really hits home with me. So my name is William Grant, and this is my business partner, Hunter Trinary. We own a company called Sun Collectors. Some of you may have heard of us. We do solar and such, but we're big on giving back to the community. It's very important to us, and it's a big part of our culture, and it's ingrained into all the people within our organization. So congratulations for you guys. We were proud to be a part of the Peoria community for over 5 years. As a thank you for making us a community leader in solar, we are passionate about giving back to organizations that make a positive difference within this community. The Good Idea Council is teaching kids how to give back, both with the change in their collection, but also with the hands-on work that they do. It is our pleasure to award Heidi Elliott and the students of the Good Idea Council a check for $500 to get out there and continue doing their good work.
Oh, Fernando, you're in Adele's way there. Thank you.
Very much, yep. All right, thank you very much, Evan. All right, yep. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to our next presentation, the Peoria Jazz All-Star by Justin Graham.
Yes, while he comes up, I will introduce him. Mr. Graham is a music teacher at Manual High School, and I'll tell you, this young man, I love him. He is amazing. You should see him in action in the community and with the kids at graduation. And so we tapped him to revitalize the Jazz All-Star, which Sharon Reed, Mary Jo Papich, that whole group, they were an amazing fixture in our community. And so who better can get it back? He's breathing fresh air into this. It's exciting. And it's Peoria Public Schools initiative, but it includes all the schools. I know Justin has been going to public schools and private schools throughout really our area. So what I wanted to do, I asked him, I know he's recruiting. I said, well, hey, this is a great opportunity to come out and just tell the board and the community and individuals in the audience what you're doing. Just tell them about Jazz All-Star and your revitalization effort and your recruiting effort as well. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Karat. Good evening, everyone. Usually, 10 times out of 10, when I approach a mic, it's to sing. So this is a little bit out of the ordinary for me, but I'm very pleased to be here. So for those of you that don't know, Peoria Jazz All-Stars was a group that was founded in 1993 by Mary Jo Papich, of whom a lot of you in this room are probably familiar with. And she founded the group with the idea that it would give super talented kids the opportunity to come together with other kids that are just as talented, who may have either outgrown the school that they play in or just would want more performance opportunities. I myself was actually an all-star when I was in high school. During the reign of Mary Jo Papich, and I performed with the likes of Greg Ward Jr. and Brianna Thomas, who are now performing at large all over the world. I decided to stay here. So I am very, very proud to be the new director of this group. As she stated before, I had the opportunity a couple weeks ago to actually have a travel day during school hours to go visit all the schools, all the high schools in District 150 and beyond, also including Peoria Christian High School and Notre Dame. Unfortunately, I was not given access to Notre Dame, but I found great success at all the other schools I went to. What I did on these visits was I was able to just kind of sit and listen and watch as they rehearsed before I was able to get up and present my recruiting effort for the All-Stars. I was able to perform a couple of pieces, singing and playing at a piano, which I think was the students' favorite part. To my surprise, even with a lot of the feedback that I had gotten leading up to that day, there were a lot of people that were very doubtful and very questionable about what talent is among the high schools and among the students, just because they don't really see anything. But I am pleased to announce that there are some very, very talented kids in this city. It absolutely blew my mind. And the thing that really warmed my heart the most was after I had performed my songs at each location and extended the opportunity for them to audition, they almost knocked me over. They were very, very excited to jump at the opportunity to be a part of something like this. And they were saying things like, we've been waiting on something like this. We've been waiting on an opportunity. We've been waiting to do something. And so I'm really excited for this opportunity. My original goal was to build a big band, a big jazz band of 18 people. And a lot of people, as I was talking to different colleagues and stuff about my ambitions, they were very doubtful that I would even be able to come close to that number. But I am pleased to announce that I have recruited already, just from that one day, close to 40 students to audition. And every single one of those 40 students, they were pre-screened by myself, so they are very talented and they exceed the minimum requirement. There are also going to be flyers that are going to be put up around the city and at all the other high schools in case I may have missed some people who would like to take advantage of the opportunity. We are looking to have auditions on December the 11th, which is a Monday, at Richwoods High School. And then after those students are selected, after I build my group, which now I've extended it and expanded it to 21, we are going to have a meet and greet on Wednesday, December the 20th, to really just allow me to meet all the performers, allow all the performers to meet each other, the parents, guardians, and volunteers to all come together so that we can really get this thing moving. So I'm really, really excited, and I look forward to what this is going to produce for the city.
What he did not say is he also has his own band, and he's an amazing singer. So the kids will be very fortunate to be under your tutelage. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
And Justin, I just want to personally thank you for all your contributions throughout the city. For as long as I have lived here, you are an outstanding pillar. And everywhere you go, you leave positivity and really good energy. So stay the course, and we're just excited and privileged to have you. Thank you.
All right, moving on, we're going to awards and recognition. Up first, we have the middle school baseball and softball city champions, Mr. A.J. Guyton.
All right. Superintendent Dr. Karat, Board President Mike Murphy, and members of the Board of Education, we are here to introduce our middle school sports baseball and softball city champions. I will give a brief synopsis of the tournament and then ask the head coach to come in to have a few words and introduce the players. First, I got a couple people I'd like to thank. I would like to thank Roger Boyer, who was the stadium foreman, and his buildings and grounds crew for their excellent work dragging and lining the fields for each regular season game in baseball and softball. Without their work, we couldn't play any games. So thank you for that, Roger, and your staff. I also like to thank manual groundskeeper Brian Points. Does a phenomenal job preparing the field for both baseball and softball games, so we can have a home field down there on the south end. Thank you, and also thank you, Dr. Crop, for the opportunity to provide our student athletes with a fun experience. So 9/23, it's been a while. We missed our date. We actually had basketball games scheduled, and it seemed like I know these girls' names by heart, but they're here every year for 2 or 3 sports winning. So, but we weren't able to get them in back in September. So here we are. The Reservoir gifted Lady Wildcats dominated the 2023 regular season, finishing 7-0 overall. The Lady Wildcats won the American League Championship with a record of 4-0. Their final overall record was 9-0. Their undefeated regular season record earned the Lady Wildcats a #1 overall seed in the city tournament. The Final Four, which we call it, included Reservoir Liberty, Mark Bills, and Annie Jo Gordon Academy. For the first time ever, the city tournament was played out at the famed Louisville Slugger Complex. The semifinal was outside and the final indoors. In the city tournament, the Lady Wildcats defeated the Mark Bills Lady Eagles 10-0, advancing to the championship game to face the Liberty Lady Lightning. Reservoir defeated Liberty at 13-5 in the championship game. At this time, head coach Justin Carley will introduce you to the 2023-24 city champion Reservoir Gifted Lady Wildcats.
Thank you to the board, Dr. Karat, AJ, and Blake for everything you guys do throughout the year. It's much appreciated to have something like this that our girls can compete. And it was awesome this year going to Louisville Slugger. They really thought that was awesome. I coach a lot of these girls in the summer, and so it's kind of fun. This is my first year coaching at Reservoir. So it was my daughter's in 8th grade. It was kind of fun for 1 year to get to the coachman school as well. So without further ado, Ella Andel, who I do not believe is here tonight. You want to come up here? Nora Armstrong. Olivia Barksdale. Patty Baumgartner. I don't believe she's here tonight. Natalie Hansen. McKenna Henderson. Maggie Lee. Kiara Lucky, Purity Mosetti, Alea Nelton, Adriana Reynolds, Abby Schoenhals, Ada Shipman-Gossman, Ryan Smith, and Emerson Carley. Once again, also, my assistant coach, Miss Gavin, she's not here tonight, unfortunately. I also want to just thank Reservoir Gifted School, Miss Martin, everything. Anything we needed, anytime we needed practice, the gym or anything, they were there for us. So it's been a pleasure coaching you guys this year, and thank you guys very much.
And while they're getting their picture, if we have any parents of the athletes here, it looks like they're all probably down here getting pictures right now, but let's also get a round of applause for the parents and families.
I was also excited to see Coach Carley coaching this year. I think it was his first year because he also was. We had an inaugural 3rd and 4th grade basketball league a couple of years ago, and he coached one of the teams, and his daughter was one of the stars of the team. So we were excited to see him back in the fold and coaching again. So congratulations once again, 2023 softball city champion, Reservoir Gifted Wildcats.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to present to you the 2023 Baseball City Champions. The Reservoir Gifted Wildcats baseball team finished with an overall record of 8-1 and 4-1 en route to the city title. The road to the title was not easy. The baseball Final Four included Reservoir, Rolling Acres, Liberty, and Sterling. The quest for the title took place at the Louisville Slugger Complex. The semifinal was played outdoors, the final indoor. The semifinal, the Wildcats defeated Liberty 12-1. The championship produced our best game of the season. Reservoir escaped with a 1-0 win over the arch rival Rolling Acres Cougars. The game went to one extra inning. It was a fantastic game. At this time, head coach Andrew C. will introduce you to the 2023 city champion Reservoir Gifted Wildcats.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Crott. Thank you, board members. First of all, I just want to say to the baseball players that are here, thank you. It was a phenomenal year. Ups, downs. I'm looking around. I don't see any of the players, but our baseball t-shirts say resilient. And that's what our team is. Rolling Acres is our rival. We've seen play them the last 3 or 4 years in the championship. Regular season games are always very competitive. We got beat by them 8-6 the first time we played them. We had every opportunity to come back at the end. We fell short. But being resilient in the championship game, like Blake said, I also want to make a special announcement, or I want to at least acknowledge Carter from Rolling Acres, who received the league MVP, very deserving. There are also 2 players on the Reservoir team, which I think deserve special acknowledgement. I'll say something about them once I call their name, but in my opinion, we had 2 true MVPs on our team. So without further ado, 8th grader Bryce Booker, I don't think he's here. 8th grader Andrew Hartman. 8th grader Sam McCall. 8th grader Cashton Millinger. Not a good showing, 8th grade. 8th grader Liam Ratliff. And 8th grader Jack Shalevinets. Okay. 7th grade Holden Clark. 7th grader Shane Cunningham. 7th grader Keaton Harden. 7th grader Isaiah McCall. 6th grader Logan Byrne. 6th grader Mason Mears. 6th grader Nikki Saraf. And 5th graders Clayton Hawkins, Gavin Hoban, Levi McCall. That's the 3rd McCall. Did I miss somebody? And our wonderful manager, Blake Conner.
You guys let us squish together a little bit. Perfect. All right, good. Thank you.
And like I said, a quick recap of our season. You guys can sit down. Sam McCall, 8th grader, phenomenal player. Sam, for any of you that know baseball, 12 for 16, 3 home runs, 18 RBIs. Phenomenal pitcher, but nobody on our team could catch him. He threw that hard. Other MVP, Holden Clark, stepped up after the Rolling Acres loss and said, "Coach, I want to give it a try." In the championship game, Sam pitched 5 2/3 innings. Holden caught. Holden pitched 1 1/3 innings. Sam caught. Holden had the game-winning hit, RBI. So, to me, the 2 MVPs of the season. Holden Clark and Sam McCall. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. And before they step away, if there's any of the parents that are here of the baseball players, please stand and be recognized.
And finally, Susan Martin and Andy C., Justin Carley did a phenomenal job of kind of being the standard over the last couple of years of baseball and softball in the city. And we hope that we can continue to work to catch up to them and then continue to make it competitive for them. So we appreciate the hard work, the effort, being at every game, being suited, ready to go early, and that's just the standard that they've set throughout the last 3 or 4 years for athletics here, and that's why they'll be successful as they go on to high school. So once again, congratulations to both teams, and we appreciate all the hard work. Thank you.
All right, up next, we have most improved attendance for October from our superintendent.
Thank you, President Murphy. I know parents and our students are departing. Congratulations again to both teams. What I'll do is ask CT Vivian and Reservoir and Franklin to come up to the microphone, please. So we have Principal Berger representing CT Vivian. We've heard Ms. Martin's name mentioned. She's representing Principal Martin. She's representing Reservoir. And I know Ms. Principal Maskin is out sick today, so we're fortunate to have Ms. Ross representing Franklin. So for the three of you, your school is being recognized for your October attendance. This growth is from October of last year, 2022, to October 2023, last month. We thank you for joining us tonight at this board meeting to be recognized on behalf of your students and your entire school community. Keep up the good work. Actually, keep up the great work. And I'll start with CT Vivian. They're in third place. Your attendance, Ms. B, last year was 91.9%. Last month, it increased after a year to 92.3%. So let's give yes. 92%. And then Reservoir, last year, October, you were 95.6%. And last month, 2023, you've improved to 96.29%. It's amazing. And the district goal is 95%, so you've exceeded the district goal. And Franklin in first place. Ms. Ross? You have bragging rights as well, so Halima has the banner for you. Last year, you guys were at 91.2%, and this year you're at 92.5, almost 93%. That's significant. So Franklin does get the bragging rights for most improved attendance for the month of October. So we'll have Franklin make some remarks. I know you guys are working a lot on, and whoever else you have, Ms. Ross, whoever else you have with you when you get a chance. I'm sure Kiana will put it in the remarkable times.
All right.
What are you guys doing? What are some of the strategies?
It's wonderful to be here again. Sorry. It's wonderful to be here again. I have Mr. Johnson with me, our family school liaison. And so what we are doing is we're really trying to build and connect those relationships with the families. We let our students know that they're missed every day, and that's part of our culture at Franklin. Each teacher monitors the attendance. They email us when they know that students are out multiple days. They are in communication constantly with the families. Mr. Johnson is our boots on the ground man. He goes out to homes and he does those home visits for us. So teachers know to email all of us and email him when they know that students are absent consecutive days, and he will go out immediately to the home. and try to visit. Sorry, try to visit the home and connect with the parent before we get to the stage of working with the ROE with truancy.
That's
So,
great.
yes,
We're
ma'am.
proud of you. Great job. Keep it up. Mr.
Thank you.
Johnson, I see you all the time for the building. Want to say anything?
Long time, Mr. Johnson has been with Franklin,
Yes.
and he is a part of the Franklin family. Irreplaceable.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Karat and the Board of Directors for presenting this honor to Franklin Primary School. And we are deeply humbled by this, and we want to thank you again for this opportunity to stand before you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay. School designations. Also
School
from
designation.
superintendent.
Yes, sir. Thank you, President Murphy. What I'll do is, actually, we've been thinking about it, and this title is called School Designations, and we really wanted to do, at least recognize, we always get complaints, and, even in executive session, we talked about that, and we've made a lot of attempt to do a lot more recognition, of all of our groups, whether they're whatever union they're in, and we have 6 union. Ms. Ross reminded me of that again today. She's like, okay, we're at 6, right? Yes, we are. And so just really an opportunity to recognize the schools that have fallen into the commendable category or the exemplary category. And I had a meeting today, and someone said, how many ratings do we have? What are the designations again? So just for a listening audience, there are 5 designations: exemplary, commendable, targeted, comprehensive, and intensive. And if you're commendable and above, that's our goal and aspiration to get into that, receive those 2 ratings. And we have a lot of leaders out here who are working very hard with their entire staff, very laser focused on just doing that. And so what the executive directors and I decided to do would be to recognize the schools that they're either exemplary, they're commendable, or they have made improvements from the last designation. And I'll just start off with what is a leader? And a leader is someone who motivates a group of people or maybe an individual to accomplish a certain goal or goals. And those who are leaders inspire followers to take the initiatives necessary for success. The abilities required to be an effective leader must be developed via learning and practice. And that's what these leaders are doing every day. And we're very, very proud of you. We have some leaders, other leaders, they're very close, and I know they're sad they're not here tonight, but they'll get there next year. But tonight is your night, and just to say thank you, continue to stay laser focused. You have all the data, you know what you have to do with your team, you and your team. You have a plan for next year, and we just wanted to celebrate you. One of the things I should have done and I didn't do, and I thought of it this morning on my drive to work, is we should have listed your names and the names of your school. Maybe we'll do that just because I want it for the record as well, to show that, we recognize that leadership does matter, right, team? So I'll start off with Reservoir, because Reservoir this year is, so come up, Miss Martin, the number 1 school, the only school out of what I think they have us as 25 schools. You've received an exemplary status. You're in the 10% of schools in the state of Illinois, which is something to be jealous of. So let's give her a round of applause, please. And I can tell you, it's her leadership as well. I remember when I said, okay, Reservoir is yours, your school. She was shocked, and not really excited, to be honest with you. Most people be like, yeah, I want Reservoir, I want Reservoir. But she's we heard from Hetty, the Good Club, an independent, thoughtful thinker. And she turned that school around, and it's you, Miss Martin. I mean, I tell you all the time, you're amazing, and you've worked with your team, with your parents, with your kids, with your staff, everybody, from the custodian, teachers, everyone. And being Reservoir, they don't really get a lot of compensatory funding, like title funding. So boy, she will squeeze it out of me. And because of the work that she's doing and the results that have you asked for anything that you've not gotten? So anyway, tell us about it.
Wait, let me get my list.
So just tell us how you feel and we're celebrating you and Reservoir and the exemplary status. This is amazing.
And
Congrats.
Thank you. This is not a one-man job. I have to compliment, I've got a couple parents still here. My school community, my teachers, everybody's on board. Everybody looks for, we're analyzing data, we're setting goals, we're setting expectations. So it's a team effort, it's a community effort, it's a school-wide culture. So I couldn't do without the people that surround me every day. So I thank them and all the support, of course.
Yeah, and you did get a new banner today, right? I didn't get to open it up.
I did. I sent you the picture of the banner. It did get hung today. Yep.
Awesome. Congrats. So let's do high school, Dr. Hassan, and then we'll do middle, Ms. Brooks, and then Dr. Corey Molson. Primary, is that okay? Thank you. We're celebrating.
Good evening, Board President Murphy, distinguished board members, Dr. Karat. Really excited for the first time in the history of Peoria Public Schools, all of our high schools are commendable.
Oh, yes. Yes.
This was hard work.
I forgot about that.
Blood and tears. So I'd like to welcome up Devin Hawks from Manual, the pride of the South Side. We also have Sean McGinnis, the new principal of Peoria. Newest principal. And then Billy Robeson, the principal at Richwoods, the standard of excellence. So it's really an honor to work with them. I've never seen in all my work a more collaborative team. They want to do everything together. It's just such an honor and a privilege to work with them. I'm in awe of the work that they do every day. So high schools, they are really providing the leadership with their commendable status, and I'm just so proud of them. And so again, please, a big round of applause for our high school
Ladies
Thank
first.
you, everyone. there is no magic bullet. We just want to do the best we can for our kids and for our community. We all, care a lot about this city and what we send out into the city. So that's where all the work comes from. So thank you for all your support. And we have lists of things we want to buy too.
Thank you. It's truly an honor, but all credit goes back to the students and the staff at the Standard of Excellence. They are the ones that bring it every day. We welcome anybody that wants to come in and walk the halls. You're going to see amazing things each and every day. Our data truly reflects just the awesome work that they're doing every day in our school community. So thank you. We're very proud and very humbled.
So I'll be really fast. Shout out to Dr. Coleman, who was the principal before me. For sure, put in a lot of work. I was just a cog in the whole machinery that was going on. Also, our students were fantastic. We have kids that just want to grow at Peoria High School. And they want to do so much more beyond high school and for the community. So I think that plays a big part in where we're going, and love to be a part of it.
And while they're taking a picture, I will say this work is not, my mother would say this work is not for the weak and feeble. Okay, this is tough, 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 tough work. And I just love, they come to work every day, they go above and beyond, and they're creative, they're trying different things, different strategies. Many of them know all their kids. Despite the challenges we have, Lord knows we have our work cut out for us. They know, I mean, and you guys, I mean, you just inspire me, and you're positive. We could go down the negative road, you know, of this and that, and we looked at our data. We know chronic absenteeism. We know we have to continue to grow kids. We know about our proficiency, and we're working towards that. And I just love your focus and how inspired and loving you are, and how you work so hard for your kids, knowing that we are many of them, you're the only fighting chance, right? And I just appreciate you for that.
Good evening, board. I'm going to tell you that working with middle school students can be a challenge in itself. So challenging to find out where kids fit, where they belong, who their friends are. They're changing, they're growing. They're not little kids anymore, but they're not adults either. And so I have two principals that work with these students tirelessly and have made some great gains. So I want to introduce tonight Lincoln, Mr. Thomas Bloomer, and Von Steuben, Miss Ann Nevitt. Von Steuben, Miss Ann Nevitt. So working with middle school takes a special talent. I'm going to tell you that. Not everybody can do that. Coming from a middle school principal myself, it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of patience. A little more patience than working with kindergartners, I'll tell you that. So with further ado, anything to say?
How about those Mustangs? So we have been mired at the bottom for so long, you begin to wonder, is it possible to grow? And just the mere, now Targeted is wonderful. I know we're with all these comprehensive and exemplary schools, but for Lincoln to move up after really struggling and working hard, because we have such great educators at Lincoln. I am so blessed to have a staff that believes in students, believes that they can grow, and they did it. And so if they did it and they got up to comprehensive, I believe we can get up to the next level also. So thank you very much.
I'd like to say thank you to everyone here. And Tom's right, because I worked at Lincoln previous to becoming, to stepping into the admin lane. But what I like to see, it takes a village. It takes every single person that has their eyes on everybody in the whole district. But the kids really need to believe in themselves, and it starts at the top and it has to trickle down. And with all of us working together, we can do it again and rise to new heights too. So thank you very much.
Mr. Bloomer and Mrs. Nevis, I understand the hard work that it takes with that age group because of hormones and so many transitional things. But I want to personally, on behalf of the board, thank you for your loyalty to the district, for your longevity, because you've been here for a long time and you've seen highs and lows, and you still keep showing up and you still keep doing the work. And it takes a leader from a pure space to be able to take the hits, take the licks, and just keep on ticking, knowing that your work is not unknown, it is not in vain, and that you have a divine purpose, if I can say that. And so that you may know that on those days, on those most difficult days, that your purpose, I pray that sometime in the near future, and then often, that a student and a parent will find you somewhere and thank you, because you may not know in the real time that you're really having a impact. But I promise you, because of your loyalty, your respect that you give to your parents and your students, sometimes you don't get it back, but I promise you, you have planted seeds that will resurrect, and that you may save somebody's life. And so I want to personally thank you for doing that, and for sticking in here with us. And I know you guys probably think of exit plans and when you're going to move on with your life, because I'm at that age where I'm thinking about exit plans. But I just want you to know personally, for all the years that I've raised children and through the district, that you matter and that you mean so much to us. And sometimes you do have a difficult school, and for so many reasons, but just to thank you that we see you and that we value you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Corey Molson, I have one more school, Liberty. Ms. Bali, Liberty has maintained a commendable status from the beginning of the designation and beyond. And Mrs. Bali is a new principal, so that was the work of Mrs. Malahi. And I am very, very proud of you. You've gotten off to an amazing start to me. And I love that you are data focused. A lot of your newsletters and scorecards and those things that you've devised with your team, we've shared with your peers. But for a new kid on the block, you are like Board Member McConnell said, you're acting like you're a veteran. And just so far, how is it going for you? And congratulations on that commendable status as well, because the next thing up is exemplary, and I know that's your goal.
That's the next step. That's the next step. So I do want to honor our entire Liberty leadership community and the work of Sue Malahi and the staff and the parents and the students. It is an incredible community. And I also invite anyone in this room to just walk and visit us and come see us and just see the work that our teachers are doing. I was in some classrooms today and I saw a new idea that our 6th grade team had developed just last week to try and make IXL more fun for our students, and it was bingo. And I was like, this is so cool. And they just said they worked as a team to develop it last week, and that's a reflection of them working, because our students are changing every day, every week, every year, and they are there for it. Our teachers are there with them every step of the way. And so the designation is just a reflection of the work that our Liberty staff is doing. And so congratulations to the Liberty community, and thank you.
Okay, well, I get the pleasure of introducing our primary principals. And I tell you what, at primary, we've got the babies, right? They come to us, and we are so laser focused on getting our students reading by the end of 1st grade. I'm super proud of this group of principals. They are very intentional in everything that they do. And the things that they're measured on by the Illinois State Board of Education, they're awarded points based on their proficiency in both reading and math, as well as their growth. A lot of points for growth, growing kids from one year to the next in both reading and math. Also, chronic absenteeism is a big one, something we continue to work on. And then the 5 Essentials survey. So we have quite a few principals to bring up here today. We're going to start off by recognizing Whittier Primary School Principal Sarah Polnitz.
Hello, everyone. I just want to thank the wonderful Whittier Primary staff and community. Like everyone has mentioned, it takes a village, and I believe we're surrounded by greatness. So I'm ready to dig deep and keep moving forward. Thank you.
Okay, next up, Hines Primary School Principal Julie Hancock.
Hello, I am a new principal to Hines, but I have been at Hines for 10 years. Best staff, best students, best families, and our next step is exemplary.
Next up, we're recognizing Keller Primary Principal Jamie Peterson.
Thank you. I'm very humbled to be the leader at Keller Primary. Thank you to the board, to Dr. Karat and Dr. Corey Molson for your utmost wonderful support this year. You have made my transition a lot easier. I shouldn't say very easy. No, a lot easier. The Keller community and the parents and the students and the staff deserve all the recognition. They are number one, and it's all about high expectations, and that's where we're going. So we are Keller.
All right, next up we recognize Charter Oak Primary School Principal Kathy Rodriguez.
Dr. Karat, President Murphy, members of the Board of Education, thank you so much for just giving us the opportunity to come out tonight and be recognized. We are so proud of all of us, I know, are proud of our school communities. And Charter Oak Primary School has a lovely, positive culture. We build relationships, and we make learning the priority. And so we will continue to find ways to improve and do what's best for our students. So thank you so much again. Dr. Corey Wilson, thank you for everything.
All right, next up we're going to recognize Northmore Primary School Principal Kimberly Sack.
Even though I'm new to this role, I'm not new to Northmore, and Northmore's always been a special place, and we have amazing staff, amazing students, amazing families. I have to brag for 1 minute, our students just completed a hope-a-thon, and they wrote 1,000 acts of kindness into the community, and it was so special, and so I'm just so proud to be
And raised how much money? How much money was raised?
$24,000.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely incredible. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to brag for just a second on this school. So, Mr. Durr, Ms. Culberson, would you come up, please? They are here representing Dr. Maud A. Sanders Primary School. And a year ago, it was a different story at that school. As you all know, that school was in comprehensive status and school improvement status. And so Mr. Durr actually came on board at the very end of October, very focused and ready to turn things around. And with the whole team and the school community, that they did. And this school went up 2 levels to commendable status.
Thank you, everybody. First of all, it took a lot of hard work, early mornings and late nights from all of us. Our teachers work very hard and continue to work hard. Our students, the 3rd and 4th grade students worked really hard to make this happen. So we are all very proud of our accomplishments, and we hope to keep it going this year.
Just want to again say thank you for recognizing our schools tonight. Obviously, we have a lot to be proud of here, and just want to encourage our leaders just to keep up the great work and our schools and keep moving forward. We're all pushing to the next level, so thank you.
Thank you, President Murphy, and great job, team. I know you're getting ready to leave, but I just wanted to congratulate you on successful Grandparents' Day. I have some numbers, amazing. Chatteroke, you had about 350 grandparents. C.T. Vivian, 300. Franklin, 250. Hines, 400. Keller, 400. Liberty, 300. Lincoln, 300. Mark Bills, 303. Northmore, 580 grandparents. That includes students as well. Peoria High, 150. Reservoir, 550. Valeska Hinton, 470. And Whittier Primary, 340, just to name a few. Overall, 6,315. Yes, and I know some of you probably attended events as well. Kudos to those leaders. Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right. Congratulations to all of our schools. Okay, up next for district presentations, we're going to start with Peoria Public Schools Foundation update by President Cindy Morris.
Good evening, President Murphy, Board of Education members, Dr. Karat, everyone in the audience. Dr. Karat had me come for an annual update, and this is for this fiscal year, so as of July 1. It'll be quick. We are in our 11th year with our Horizons Club. It's in all middle schools, 800 students district-wide. We oversee See It, Be It, career speakers for K-5. And we also oversee SIP Day virtual career speakers, live career speakers via MS Teams impacting students. And I'm very lucky to have Trish O'Shaughnessy, who oversees our career programs, here tonight with me. We just got through our classroom grant awards for this year. We awarded $31,266 in funds, 37 projects, classroom grants, STEM grants, and field experience grants. Now we have open our 25 scholarships. Award amounts are between $500 and $4,000. New this year, we're doing something we're really hoping that will help our seniors. We're setting up an MS Teams scholarship workshop on December 13th. So very excited to offer our students kind of best practices and help with their scholarship applications. Our scholarships are due March 1. This year we had several endowed funds. The Manual Endowed Fund, they used their funds for attendance incentives, $600. Valeska used $1,757 for classroom supplies. The Manual Band Endowed Fund was close to $2,000. The Hear Endowed Fund, the district hard of hearing classroom supplies at $3,777. Reservoir Gifted Endowment Fund, Exploratory Program, Field Trips, Outdoor Classroom Supplies, $4,700. This year, we were awarded a large grant that does need to be used by June 30th, so our numbers are very high, and we have a lot of funding for our basic needs support. But as of July 1, for food, we've spent $18,202. For clothing, $21,716. Shelter, so that's rent and utility support, $11,691, with a total of $52,500. We're super excited about our upcoming 9th annual 365 breakfast, which is our next fundraising event. It's been 3 years since we had the breakfast in person, and we're very excited to have it back at Woodruff, WCTC, and have our culinary students prepare the breakfast. We're very excited to have a local alum speaking this year, Dr. Chris Reynolds. We've had some remarkable speakers that would always come back into town, but it's nice to have Dr. Reynolds, a local alumni, speaking this year. As always, we love our work and we love supporting our school district in any way we can. So thank you for letting us give a brief update. I have one other thing I'd like to do tonight. For several years, the foundation has been doing Hero Awards, and we started this as a way to recognize those who do a lot in our school district and those that kind of go above and beyond and don't get recognized a lot. So we're giving each of our board members a Hero Award tonight. I'd love you guys to stand up too. Let's give you a big, like, you guys need this, okay? Please stand up. Let's give you a round of applause. You guys are heroes. You know, I know everyone here knows that you are elected officials and, you know, in a volunteer capacity, but, you know, the time and effort and the love and the compassion and empathy you have for our school district you guys are heroes. And thank you so much on behalf of the foundation and the community for serving on the Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's very kind.
Thank you. Cindy, first of all, I just want to say thank you. For anyone who has not had one of Cindy's cookies that she makes,
She's amazing.
I see that I saw that was the top thing on here, so I'm very
She's
excited about that and
amazing.
everything else there, but thank you very much. But I just want to say thank you very much for what you and the organization does. I don't think that a lot of people really realize what all the foundation is helping out with and for our families. This breakdown here really shows, I mean, over $21,000 alone just in clothing, right? So that's amazing that you're able to do that for families. Shelter, over almost $12,000 worth, you know, in there. So I think that this is a really great opportunity for families to kind of learn a little bit more about what the foundation does, the hard work that you guys do. I know you said it's been 3 years since the breakfast has been in person. Just a huge shout out to this organization for what they did during the pandemic. They did not stop with those little free pantries, the food pantries, the book libraries, all the stuff that they continue to do for families and got very creative in helping families. And it's just incredible the work that you guys do. And I'm always very proud to be a part of that, to help out however I can. If any other board members or anybody else is interested in learning more about how you guys can help, please reach out to Cindy Morris and her team, because there's definitely a need and they're filling those needs. But like anything else, right, they need more. So just congratulations to everything you guys do.
Thank you.
Amazing.
And Cindy and Trish, I've only known Trish forever. I'm not gonna date ourselves, but just community servants. Thank you for all of your sacrifices, and I must vouch for Cindy's cooking and all her all the goodies. And thank you for all of your time, and thank you for being genuine in every way. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was wondering, Halima, this was just so well done, the presentation and showing the impact from the foundation. If we can maybe figure out a way to get it online, that's really positive. We talked about that today, positive news. And I think Ms. Rose, did you have an experience? And sometimes I get a phone call, someone cannot pay their rent, or there was a fire, or some crisis, and we can call, principals can call Cindy, they can call Trish, and boom, they're on their way to provide support. Without the foundation, PPS would not be where it is today. So you really, really are feeling, the need is so great in our community. And so just excellent work, and thank you for being partners with us.
And that's what I want to follow up with. The foundation has been instrumental in helping our EL population, especially our newcomers that come to Peoria with nothing. They have provided clothing, they have provided shelter, they have provided for families that have gone through devastation of fires and a death, little boy. was so upset his teacher knew something was wrong and found out that they were sitting in the dark because they turned off their lights. And we reached out to the foundation, and they're always there to tell us how much, what do we need to do, give us the information, and they're there. So I just want to appreciate them and tell you how much they impact our community. Thank you so much.
And Ms. Rose, thank you for remembering the kid with the no electricity. And you told me that about 3 weeks ago. And yeah, and they came out and helped. Thanks for sharing that as well with the board.
Thank you. All right, moving on now. We're going to body cameras. Mario Boone. Oh, and also, I do apologize. Our what is this? The projector is not working correctly, so we're going to just have to listen intently to the presentation.
Okay.
But we also got an email. The board got an email copy of it as well, didn't we? Yes. So.
Not a problem. It makes my life easier. Makes things quicker. So, good evening, members of the board and Superintendent Dr. Karat. This is actually piggybacking off of a request of the board 2 years ago for us to look into body-worn cams for officers. I agree wholeheartedly. Anybody that does this work, police, security, or otherwise, we need to actually have some checks and balances and some monitoring there. So I'm all on board for these body-worn cameras for our officers. So the purpose and scope is just for our department to request permission from the board for us to use our body-worn cameras on district property to ensure the health, welfare, safety of all staff, students, and visitors that visit district property, and to safeguard district facilities and equipment. The rationale for this, it serves as an active prevention method for potential incidents. Anything that I ask our department to have is not reactive or anything like that. It's always proactive. I want to be a step ahead. I want to try to mitigate any liabilities that could, incur doing our work. It gives us more camera coverage for significant events at the stadium, after school, off property. We actually didn't have body cameras when I was an officer at Manual, but we did have a video camera that we would carry around. And Officer Johnson, we affectionately named him Spike Lee because he would take that camera out after school when there were people that weren't students across the street. And instead of arguing, he would have that camera and people would see that and they would, walk away more than, put up a fight or argue. So that body cam actually helped those after-school incidents in prevention. The truth is captured should an incident take place and protects Peoria Public Schools against those false reports. And then also it captures CSO best practices. We have a lot of great officers that come to a lot of children in times of crisis, and a lot of that stuff isn't captured for training purposes, and I think that's essential for training for officers. And also to help identify who are all involved in a critical incident. If you have a large fight, if you have a large incident, that body cam can record all of that information, that data. We can review that later to make sure we identify people that are involved. The pros of that body-worn camera, more accountability for CSOs, and I'm all on board for anybody in uniform having more accountability when we do our work, because that's critical. Officers with body cams had fewer complaints of misconduct. I've called several other departments that have done this, and officers act a lot different when they know they're being recorded. And Dr. Cross says it all the time, inspect what you expect. And there's a lot of times that we need to do that, especially in our line of work, because we are dealing with the most vulnerable and a lot of people that deal with trauma, and we don't want to be inflicting that on them as well. Those cameras, again, like I explained, they deter those incidents, and it gives Peoria Public Schools that strength to own our own narrative. When something happens, we have it recorded, we have sound, we have video, and we can be able to be on a better footing. And looking at other departments that have had body-worn cameras, for every dollar spent, they saved $4 in litigation. It knocked a lot of that stuff out. And then it boosts that coverage of the cameras that we already have in the building. So there are no real true hiding spaces anymore. when we have those officers that are walking around with those cameras as well. Some of the cons, because there's always cons to certain things. When I looked at other school districts and I looked at other cities that use body cams, a lot of times the video that's on that body cam, people will look forward to more prosecution for students acting out. The greatest thing about Peoria Public Schools is the way that we're set up. We're not a police department that makes a arrest with a student. We put interventions in place, and we can better do those interventions if we have that information ahead of time. Also, accidental recording of non-incidents or conversations. These body-worn cameras, if there's a critical incident and an officer is heading that direction and they turn that camera on, it will record 30 seconds before, and then once that's shut off, it can record 30 seconds after. You can run into CSO discipline as a result of a recording. People have always had FERPA and HIPAA concerns when it comes to recording, but we already record in our buildings. Everybody in this room is being recorded right now. We added tons more cameras in the buildings, and we address these body-worn cameras with the same discretion that we would any of that camera footage. Staff concerns on when the recording is going off. You will probably have more FOIA requests, people expecting certain things to be recorded or think they have access to certain images. Expectations of the community, and then that human eye versus the camera eye. I know when I was a Peoria police officer and I had a body cam, sometimes what I see with my eye, everything doesn't capture on that body cam. So it could be some variances there and vice versa. When we demoed these last year, toward the end of the year, we had 3 parent issues that I was personally involved with that we were able to resolve a lot more peaceful with those body cams. We had an irate parent, and when I came over, I said, hey, just for your safety and mine, just letting you know we're being recorded right now. And it calmed a lot of stuff down. And again, after school, those issues, when people know they're being recorded, it was proactive enough to, you didn't have to even engage them. They kind of walked away. And that helped a lot of things in our high schools after school. Some legal things about the body-worn camera. Just as security cameras, images of the students captured on the body-worn camera for security purposes. They're not educational record, just like the officers' reports that they write, that does not go into educational record. The body-worn camera will only be used in common areas, and otherwise private areas. Body-worn cameras are only used when reasonable grounds exist. Fights in restrooms, fights in certain areas that we need to have that on record. Illinois law, there is no requirement for us to have these, but Illinois law just says, have storage for 30 seconds, previous to an incident, record for 10 hours or more, 90 days of storage, and then any requests for any video or footage, that's under the same standard as we have now under our cameras that we have inside of our buildings. For the storage, that was a big thing when this was presented 2 years ago. We looked into it. Storage was the most expensive piece of it because you were basically paying almost $100,000 a server, and that wasn't connected to our system. Now these body-worn cameras are directly connected with our system. There is no middleman that stores our footage. We have to request it. It automatically goes on our own servers. And then this, of course, still has restricted access that nobody can edit, copy, or any of that. We've done a collaboration with Peoria Police as far as their guidelines, their rules and regs on body-worn cameras. Ours is actually a little longer than theirs because I wanted to make sure we captured everything and we wouldn't have any hiccups there. And Chief Echeverria has been instrumental on assisting with this and pledges his full support for us getting these body cameras. And then the training, prior to any officer being issued a body-worn camera, they'll be trained on the full policy, technical training on that model, the department policy on when to use it, how to use it, and then there will be Illinois law training on what body cameras in Illinois equipped by officers, the do's and don'ts with that. So The cost of that, we were looking at 48 body cameras with 3 docking stations, and that total cost was $58,416 total for those 48 body cameras. So with that, any questions?
I was just wondering, you know, as it relates to students, we identify, because of privacy, we identify our students by number. How would you assure that our students are not, their privacy is not exposed?
In all of my years that I've been director of school safety, we've been recording all of that time, and never once has their privacy been violated in those recordings.
But you haven't been wearing body cameras, though.
No, no.
This is,
But
I'm talking about as it relates to the body cameras.
Yep, yep. Well, we've never had body cameras for us, but the cameras in the schools, we've never violated any policy, and those are always recording.
Just a few questions. So if we purchase these at 58,000 and technology has to be upgraded all the time, so what is the lifespan of that? So if we purchase these now, when will we need to purchase new ones? Or is there a trade-in process? Are we owning them, purchasing them, or are we leasing? And how much estimated cost is this gonna be for us? Say a 5-year window that we can attach to our budget as a line item?
Yeah, I can find more information on the lifespan of these. I know when I was with Peoria Police Department, we had body cams that were over 10, 11 years old. And they were very, very durable because they do the job that we did. I know these have like a 3-year warranty on them.
I was
when we had
wondering
purchased them.
Michelle, Director Boone, if Michelle can help with that.
A 3-year warranty?
Ms. Heupel.
It's a 3-year warranty, but it's durable, so it's however long it lasts, it lasts.
Okay, and then secondly, when you say there are 3 docking stations, what does that mean, docking stations?
So the body worn camera has to download all the data on those docking stations, and that goes right directly to our server. So we'll put those docking stations in specific schools. There's like an 8-bar docking space. So if there's a critical incident, big incident that happens at a game or whatever, all the officers go to that docking station, they dock that body worn camera, and all that information goes into our system.
Okay, and then as far as training officers on the process, is that additional cost to that for training?
None at all.
Okay, and then lastly, so the company that we're purchasing from, is there a local vendor or any vendor in the state that we're purchasing from?
And that would be
We're
Seco.
purchasing through Seco if it gets approved, but we're using the Axis body cameras.
So Axis, and is that a state vendor or is that somewhere else outside of the state of Illinois?
The vendor is in Beacon, but Axis, the overall manufacturer, is somewhere nationwide.
Okay, so the business in Pekin is a vendor, is an authorized dealer for these cameras.
They provide our alarm system, right? They currently provide our alarm system for us.
Yeah, the current cameras you have now are through Seco.
Okay, and how do you spell Seco?
SEICO.
SEICO. Okay, and then Mr. Willis, is this sustainable for our budget as it stands now? And then understanding that ESSER funds will not be here in the next calendar year or so, that how much is this gonna cost us in addition to the additional SROs we have actually brought in? Before I can make a comfortable decision on that, I need to see some 5-year window costs. What is it gonna take for maintenance? And then do we have 48 officers that will all have these cameras, and the distribution of it? Just a little more detail so that we are accountable and that it makes sense, and that we don't purchase it and then we can't utilize it for whatever reason. I'm okay with it, as long as we make sure that there are some policies that are attached for HIPAA reasons, for any identity violations, any abuses, just some of the behind the scenes work. I'd like to have legal look at that so that we are in compliance with state government and just, I just need a little
Yeah.
more information.
And it's not an action item, so this is perfect. That was the
Okay.
purpose, is just have a conversation, get some of your thoughts. And it's not ESSA. The funding is not, when it does come through, if it does, we wanted some guidance from the board as well. So Mr. Willis, I'll turn that over to you.
Okay.
And we would, I can work with Chief Boone on not only the startup costs, but any annual anticipated cost. As part of our budgeting, we'll need to revise our budget early after New Year's anyway, to accommodate the additional staff. And so this information we would just bake onto that, and build that into the budget that we are already augmenting with additional officers. So
Okay.
Mr. Willis,
yes,
Oh, the tort fund?
yes.
Is that where it's attached to?
yeah, some of it.
The equipment would actually come out of the education fund, and we have the capacity to handle that purchase out of the education fund.
Okay.
Okay, so go back to, I had a couple other questions, but even with the additional officers, why are we talking about 48 cameras?
Those were 2 extra, because you could always have one damaged, one getting repaired. So there's only 46 officers, but there's 48 cameras.
46 officers?
And then,
Okay, and then,
go ahead.
as far as you said that currently, I remember when this came up before, we were not in favor of it, because we couldn't find documentation that it was being done with, with school districts anywhere in this area. So you're saying now that there are other school districts, officers have those? Can you give us a report on who's doing it?
There are actually school districts where school administrators are walking around with them now.
Yeah. And then as it relates to our server, if it's going to be on our server now, does the server have that capacity if we did something like that? Because
Yes,
your server is always having problems.
We have multiple security servers.
Okay.
As we increase more cameras, eventually we add more servers through the security funds that.
So that would be a cost to that, to add more servers.
Each server can hold approximately 125 cameras. So
Okay.
we already have a server right now that has the capacity to hold 48. But as we start adding more cameras at other schools, then of course, not body worn, but the building cameras, we add more cameras as necessary for that.
So I remember when you implemented the tasers, and many of the staff in that department did not want tasers. Is this a collective, appreciation with all the staff? I mean,
A collective appreciation with.
Collaboration.
Is it are the staff on board with something like this?
The majority of the ones that I spoke to, yes, and that's the command staff. So, I mean, I could do
Command
another
staff?
audit, but there's a lot of things that we would do for the department that,
Because I know there's probably some staff don't even have the tasers now. So
Right.
I was just wondering, because we always invest in things and then, we don't use them.
I'm glad we invested in tasers and didn't use them. That's how great the staff is you have. I would rather have a taser that we had an incident where an adult pulled a knife on a child and one of the officers just simply pulled the taser and the adult backed away. But we've had the tasers 5, 6 years now and not had one taser use. I'd say that's a great thing, but I'd rather.
No, it is. I'm just saying there were staff people that did not want a taser.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some that may not, but I would not prioritize, what maybe one person may not understand at that moment to save a life of a child. I put that over precedent over anything.
And then lastly, so with this 48, so is there some kind of volume discount that we're getting for the number, or what's per camera? Yeah, I think we should probably ask for that. If we're buying 48 items.
Yes, we are getting a volume discount.
And then, okay, so then can you tell me what the cost of each camera is, and then where the discount break is? That would be some information that I would be very interested in, so that we get the best deal. And I'm glad to know that it's from a Illinois local vendor, because that's very important too. But yeah, just the actual cost and the maintenance and some other things. And then more so just the, sustainability and the training that needs to be there. And then as far as, Jennifer, as far as legal, we need to look at what the Illinois State School Board policy is in Lincoln to make sure we are in compliance so that we don't get unnecessary lawsuits because of some violation. And thank you so much for doing your homework, and I'm for safety. If that keeps you going home every day and everybody else, that is the goal. I just want us to be wise in it. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Boone. Appreciate it. Right. At this time, we'll be moving on to presentation by audience. An individual may address the board at this time for no more than 5 minutes, with further time allotted as appropriate at the discretion of the chair and with concurrence of the majority of the board. Total time on any one subject shall exceed 20 minutes only at the discretion of the chair and with the concurrence of the majority of the board. Each speaker will fill out a request to speak to the Board of Education card and present it to the board secretary before the meeting begins. In no particular order, I will call up our one person tonight, Ms. Mary Beth Cunningham.
I was going to make that joke, and now I don't want to talk anymore.
Sorry, I took your thunder tonight.
No, I usually try to make a point to come a couple times a year to talk about good things. My son was being recognized for baseball today, so now is as good a time as any. I sent a message to Dr. Crott after the last board meeting. While I'm not here every meeting, I watch every meeting. I work at night. A couple things that I did want to address from that is, as a parent and a generational 150 parent, I'm happy when we talk about the good things at meetings. If I want to, so we do that, and I like that. And I'm one of the 38 people who watches online all the time too. So I'm just a big percentage of that, right? But if I want to see negativity, I can go to the comment section in the news. My whole life, I'm in my 40s, and my whole life, we've been the scapegoat unnecessarily. But we've done amazing things my whole life, and we've done amazing things my dad's whole life and my grandfather's whole life. And so when we see good things happening, I think it's important that we bring them up. And so last meeting, that was kind of a thing that was talked about just a little bit was, we do have problems to solve. We can't only talk about the good things. Well, of course, no, we don't have to. But it's good to lead with that, in my opinion. My kids need to see that. The kids at all the different schools, the parents at all the different schools, the people who don't have kids in schools in 150 but live in the neighborhood, even for the fiduciary part of it, like property values, right? We want to see good things. And so I was very glad today. When I looked at the agenda, like the nerd that I am, I knew that a bunch of my my people would be here, right? A classmate of mine is a principal right now that had to endure a locker right next door to my locker forever. We had different maiden names, so very close together maiden names. An AP at the time who was at Von Steuben when I was in the classroom, he was here as a principal at one of the schools that jumped and did amazing things, and I look up to him a lot. And of course, my kids' two principals, I think they deserve the recognition, and I think our kids deserve to be able to have it recorded how proud they are. It honestly chokes me up how good we're doing, because it's not perfect. We have a lot of room to grow, but like, our numbers don't lie. That's one thing that we know. And our numbers for all the schools just are doing better. And I think that we need to talk about those things. So that's the first thing. The second thing was the mental health aspect of things. Telehealth came up last board meeting as well. And while it is my mission in this life, and I will get my way one day, it is my mission in this life to get licensed clinical therapists, licensed clinical therapists at every school, because I am a licensed clinical therapist. They need to be to every school, but right now we don't have access to that. You can't find a licensed clinical therapist out in the wild, right? Like, I'm backed up until 2027 probably at this point, and I hate that. I want to work myself out of a job, but we thought outside of the box. Telehealth is a viable option. We have fine-tuned things over the last 3 years. I'm so thankful you're looking into that. When I was in grad school a couple decades ago, it was still like dial-up internet, and we were talking telehealth back then. When is this the best way to do it? When is it not? Should we do this? What are the ethics? Da, da, da. We've gotten better at technology, and then COVID happened, and we had to do it. So the fact that we are open to doing this, as a therapist who has operated under all different scopes with telehealth and otherwise, all for it. Eventually, I'm going to push really hard for therapists in every single school, but right now, it's great. I'm really happy for that. And then we mentioned Northmore before. I'm so pleased with our leader there. I'm pleased with our leaders at both of my kids' school, but our community came together. It wasn't even about the funding necessarily, but we're going to do good things. We have rockstar parents who have really good executive functioning that I don't have, that planned a bunch of really great things. Everything is kind of falling into place. But we had 1,100 donors. So like, the number of donations, the people who are supporting our 370-ish school, 1,100 donors. That speaks to the amount of support that our community has, and I think we do need to focus on that, and I'm very glad that we do. So that's what I came in. I'm sorry I choked up, but education's important to me, and Peoria education is obviously the most important. So thank you.
All right, at this time, response to audience presentation.
Go ahead. Miss Cunningham, I appreciate your honesty and your time. And then I also wanted to share, there is a statewide hotline, crisis 365 24/7. You just dial 988. And so, just so that everybody knows that, every student and parent, if there is any crisis that is going on, it is sponsored through the Illinois Department of Public Health, and it will link you to a professional therapist. They will follow up with you. They will get somebody in touch with somebody in your local area, and that would be great if we had some therapies on site, because so many families need it. And so, thank you. And just quickly, after our board meeting on November 13th, Mary Beth sent me an email, she usually does, and endorsing the decision board that you made regarding the telehealth partnership you agreed to with Cartwheel. So I was really pleased about that, knowing her background and that she's a licensed clinical therapist. So thank you, Mary Beth. And I just really appreciate your feedback. You tell me the positives, but you also share a lot of opportunities for improvement, which I appreciate, and provide suggestions as well. So thank you. Thank you also for being part of that group with Northmore and the donations and the letters that the kids wrote. And it was great to see Sean.
Shane.
Shane. He's getting
should've been
tall.
Sean.
He's getting taller and taller every day. So we'll continue to work hard and partner with you and the rest of our families as well. So it's good seeing you. It's been a while since we've seen you, so thanks for stopping by.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on now to information items. I'm sorry, before we move on to that, I need a motion to approval of minutes from October 23rd, 2023.
moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Mr. Claus?
Aye.
Mrs. McConnell?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross? President Murphy?
Aye.
We have 4 ayes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on now to information items, superintendent update.
Just quickly, kudos to Katie Cobb. She's a principal at Valeska Hinton. I wanted to just tell her thank you, and she and her team, they're collaborating with PNC, the bank, to write a grant to upkeep, improve, and enrich their outdoor learning areas. And I thought that was pretty cool, that they're going above and beyond. So I wanted to just say thank you for her leadership as well. And I think she's going to be meeting next week with her team of teachers to get input and then proceed with the grant writing. Wanted to wish them good luck with that. I think it's a cool project. Hope it gets funded. That's it.
Thank you. Financial update, budgeted, encumbered, expended, balanced, and percent balance.
Thank you, President Murphy. Receipts year-to-date through November 27th, 2023, totaled $98.9 million. Expenditures year-to-date were very close, $98.5 million. So in terms of revenue and expenditures at this point in the year, we're about break even, which is always good. In terms of how that compares to what we typically see, receipts compared to budget is about 36.9% thus far. This time of year, we typically see 37%, 37.01%. So we're right there just in terms of the pace of revenue compared to prior 3 years. On the expenditure side, we've received 35.6%, or we've spent 35.6% of the budget. Typically, we're at about 34.5%, so we're a smidge ahead of what we normally are. We've done quite a bit of capital spending over the summer and through the early part of the school year, so that contributes to us being a little bit ahead of where we normally are. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Willis. Any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Moving on to proposed expenditures over $2,500. Were there any questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to the report of requests under the Freedom of Information Act and status of such requests.
Thank you, President Murphy. Since our board meeting on board report on November 13th, we've received 4 new requests. 1 is complete and 3 are still pending. There were 0 pending requests noted on November 13th. Of those, okay. So to date, we have received 102 requests for this calendar year. I know it's quite a bit, right?
Oh, yeah.
At a cost of $5,100, and a lot of people are doing research and stuff like
Sure.
that. So, thank you.
Thank you for that update. Moving on now to the consent agenda. Mr. Klaus, would you please read?
1, gives the school district year-to-date $106,195.31. 2, payment of bills. 3, payment for travel. 4, human resource report. 5, approval of American Institute for Research contract for school needs assessment. 6, modifying responsible bidder requirement. And 7, high school New Orleans trip.
Thank you. Are there any items that any board members would like to discuss?
5.
Hold for discussion.
I just need some clarification on number 5.
Okay. And what was, go ahead. Is it
Right. No,
just to
some,
discuss?
just some clarification.
Okay.
Is this something new that we're doing, this research? Is this a survey, and have we done this before?
Thank you for the question. It has to do with the school designations. So the schools that received a comprehensive or intensive rating must go through this needs assessment. There are two categories. I think one is just a regular needs assessment. The other one is a rigorous needs assessment. And it is required by Illinois State Board of Education. So the action item reads that the board approves the contract with AIR to engage with Peoria Public Schools for this school year to conduct a school-level needs assessment as required by Illinois State Board of Education, and it has the schools listed: Glen Oak, Tree Winnie, East Fort Allen, Franklin, Annie Jo, C.T. Vivian, Mark Bills, and Rolling Acres. So it is new. It is new, yes, ma'am.
So this is new, and so the total cost for this calendar year is $351,860.
Correct.
And with that assessment, besides them looking at data, I guess I'm trying to understand what.
Yeah, it's a comprehensive, you have it in the background in the MOU. It's a comprehensive assessment that is, and the fee was predetermined by ISB. So it's just when we talk about, the state's attempt to hold districts and schools accountable, and if you're at a certain level, they're really going to be more prescriptive. I think that's a perfect example. Tim, would you say that? Would you agree? Does anyone want to add anything to that? Go ahead, Dr. Hassan.
Well, I can add that based on it, we have to meet bi-monthly with the state representative for our schools. So definitely the SIP plan is predetermined by them. There's some other things that are coming along.
Along with training for the board as well. And I know you guys, I have not been able to sit in, but they have regular meetings with principals, and you are a part of that as well. Ms. Brooks, would you like to add anything? And Dr. Morrison?
The state is providing some of that money, and then they're taking that and giving that.
Correct.
To AIR.
Yep, so that it's, it's all part of the school improvement funds that they provide. Dr. Corey Molson?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything more. I mean, this assessment that they'll be doing is a very deep analysis of, sort of like a 360 look at the school.
Yes.
So we'll get a very comprehensive report.
Yep,
that'll
that's
point
good.
us into the
co-
immediate next steps.
An intensive needs assessment, as you said, more like a 360 assessment. And I'm interested in learning more as well. And we'll all get updates too.
Okay, and I guess my concern, if this is a mandate from the Illinois State, from the school board association, are they supporting it and funding it?
Yes.
Or is it, so it's like an exchange?
Correct.
Yes.
That's what Ms. Brooks just said.
Yes.
And then
So they give us the money for it,
And then they take
it back?
Correct.
Not all of it though. So the
Right, so
school-
what is the actual cost to the district then? What's the percentage? So are they gonna give us 200,000 and we gotta underwrite the 151,000?
We don't have to pay for anything. The total cost is 351, 860. Sorry, my eyes are bad. And we're getting all of that from them. And plus more. Go ahead, Dr. Hassan.
So in the past, if your school was a school improvement status, you had to choose a learning partner.
Yes.
But in this case,
They chose the learning-
decided
yes.
who the learning partner
Yes.
is for you.
Right.
So you don't have a choice. As a
Right.
learning partner, it's AIR.
Yeah.
Okay,
And you don't
thank
have
you.
a choice.
Yeah.
That they're giving you money, but then taking part of it to pay the learning
Yes.
partner.
Great example. Ms. Ross, remember when I was at Manual, we had John
Okay, thank you. I
Hopkins.
appreciate it.
So every school, but yeah, that was a good example.
The other part of those funds are the schools get to use to conduct their meetings, to
Pay
staff
teachers,
to stay and do some school improvement stuff.
Okay, excellent. And that gives me, I really needed to hear that. that there is a give back and that it's going to support the necessary interventions. Because
Oh, lots of training.
so to give us an assessment and not fund the fix, that was not making sense to me. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's kind of what I was thinking about. That's what I was thinking about. I wondered if they were going to be funding these requirements, and now I hear that they are. And then I also hear that whatever assessment comes out of this, the schools will get assistance in helping to rectify some of those things
Yes, ma'am.
through this whole initiative. Okay, I don't remember since manual. I don't remember us doing this recently.
Right. So the schools did it, but as Dr. Hassan said, they chose their partners, so you didn't recognize that. But yeah, this is actually very different this year. Very, very interesting. I think they have a lot of confidence in AIR, and AIR has done a lot of good work for us as well. We've been very, very pleased with the work. So they have selected AIR to work with comprehensive and intensive schools by first conducting the needs assessment.
So when this needs assessment document comes back, then that means it has to be integrated into our strategic plan.
Into the school improvement plans.
School improvement plans, which is part of the strategic plan overall. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, team.
Thank you.
Motion.
So can I get a motion?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Mr. Claus,
Aye.
Mrs. McConnell,
Aye.
Mrs. Ross,
Aye.
President Murphy.
Aye.
We have 4 ayes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on now to the deliberation agenda.
I'll go ahead and go that. She's not here. I don't know, and Greg is not here either.
Okay.
The two of them, I
Thank you, Ms.
think, were
Ross.
on there. Okay, deliberation agenda, expulsions, but the expulsions held in abeyance. The proposed action is that the Board of Education approves the expulsions with the expulsions held in abeyance listed on the report dated November 27, 2023, to be approved as presented. Anybody want to say?
Okay, can I get a motion?
So move.
I need a second. I was making the motion.
You made the motion.
Okay, second.
Okay.
Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Mr. Claus.
Aye.
Mrs. McConnell,
Aye.
Mrs. Ross,
Aye.
President Murphy.
Aye.
We have 4 ayes. Motion carries.
Okay, under expulsions, proposed action is that the Board of Education approve expulsions listed on the report dated November 27, 2023, to be approved as presented.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Claus,
Aye.
Mrs. McConnell,
Aye.
Mrs. Ross,
Aye.
President Murphy.
Aye.
We have 4 ayes. The motion carries.
Thank you. Presentation and suggestions by board members? None? Do we, Before we move on to the next part, I'd like to offer up, is there any questions that our student board member would like to ask, or any comments they'd like to make? Good. All right, thank you. And are there any reports from any board committees?
The policy committee I think we're scheduled to meet December the 13th. That's our follow-up one for the end of the year. And we would like to visit the camera situation so that to make sure that that we have a policy in place at that time. So our next meeting is scheduled for December the 13th. Policy committee.
And the Buildings and Grounds Committee met on November 20th. And basically, we had just discussion as a follow-up on the master facilities plan and what other issues. That was basically what our meeting was about. Yeah, and current projects. And so we will be coming forward with an initiative to involve board members in this process.
All right, thank you. Any others? Please get a motion to adjourn.